Ruination is this new concept coming out of China where, we used to have lie flat and let it rot and
this is something we've been
and,
hearing about.
That now it's more like, well, hey, listen, if I can't make it, no one will.
I'm assuming that ruination is like ruination.
Yes, like ruination.
The word, which is maybe a new word for some people. Ruination just means the destruction of everything.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
So ruination, I guess, is this new catchphrase that's been coming out.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, lie flat is this idea that everyone's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Because the economy's tanking, their unemployment's at a record high. No one wants to participate. Beyond that, this seems to be a continuation of lie flat. Is no, we're going to do something about it. We're actually going to destroy everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So you see people running people over in mass attacks. You see people sabotaging factories.
Yeah. For instance, this factory was intentionally set on fire by the workers, hence the thumbnail. Now, guys, we showed you last week, I believe it was, a bunch of factory workers on the top of an alcohol factory. They'd been up there for 8 days demanding their wages be paid. We've been seeing this a lot where people are kowtowing and trying their absolute best to demand the wages that they're owed. And this is an unfortunate reality of China, especially for migrant workers. They get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And they can't do anything about it. There are no laws to help them. The government doesn't step in.
You're right.
And so the factory bosses can literally just not pay them.
Correct.
And sometimes for months at a time, 6 months. And these guys just have to kind of keep, surviving, hoping that they get their money.
Yes.
Okay. And in this particular case, they had enough. And they're like, okay, that's it. Set fire to the place.
So this is in Changsha in Hunan. Factory workers were like, nah. So this is like you said before, and I hate that this is a trend.
Yeah.
Because lie flat is innocent enough. It's just going to wreck the economy, which the Chinese government really hates.
Yeah.
But this is beyond that. This is wreck stuff.
Yes.
Wreck everything. Wreck society.
Yeah. Take revenge against society.
And it's becoming a copycat thing.
Yeah.
So more and more businesses and factories are going up in flames. Not just flames. People are blowing things up. There's kerosene explosions. There's like we said before, these massive 2 happened within the past couple days of people just running through crowds of people.
Buses, trucks, cars.
So this ruination is become this copycat phenomenon across the entire country where they're not going to lie flat anymore and just, I'm just going to scroll through my phone.
They're going to take revenge against society.
No, we're going to go out
and
there.
Bosses.
It's anarchy.
Yeah.
It's anarchy. So that's unfortunately, it didn't stop at lie flat. Chinese government tried to ban the phrase lie flat because they don't want people to be unproductive, right?
Yeah.
They want to be productive. Everyone's got to have a job.
So here's the thing. I'd like to explain to our audience, why has this kind of thing come about? Now, we all understand that the slowing of the economy is always going to make these kind of problems appear. People are disgruntled. They're not getting their money. They're not getting paid what they're owed, right? That type of thing. But here's a particular situation that we wanted to show you because this kind of thing happens all over the country. And this is where you really get to see that nothing can be done.
This is such a good / such a sad example of ruination.
Yeah.
Because
what causes it?
This is what causes ruination because the next step of this is ruination.
Yeah.
This is pre-ruination. What's happened here is that there is a solar farm being set up.
Photovoltaic, which just means
yeah.
solar farm, yeah.
Can you point out, I guess if you look above us, where we are right now, see the guy with the yellow hats? If you go above that, you'll see all the hills covered in solar panels.
Yeah.
And these are used not necessarily to generate electricity because we found there was ones in the north that were not even plugged in. They were just being used in drone shots to show that everything in China.
Yeah, they make them in the shape of a panda and stuff.
People that don't even support China or the Chinese government or whatever still will congratulate China for all their solar farms everywhere, right? What they don't see is that a lot of these are set up as a facade.
Yes.
Right. This is just put out there to be the #1 solar user in the world, #1 green technology person or country in the world. Right. Meanwhile, they use produce the most CO2 in the world, all nations combined, more than. They contribute more to global warming than any other nation in the entire world.
Correct.
They are building new coal plants at record pace while the rest of the world shuts them down.
Yes.
So they do everything that they say is bad.
Well, it's so that they can say, we have the most solar panels.
Yes. And then
we have made the most renewable energy. But people see that and then they leave it alone. They don't see that we made the most renewable energy at the highest cost and to the most detriment to the environment.
Yeah.
Because they have to produce that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they produce this low quality crap. They slather it over a mountain like a person putting margarine on toast or something. And then they're like,
but
look,
they do it when it's cold, so it rips the bread. That's what China does.
Here's the thing. There's a lot of bad impacts that these solar farms have, okay, to the local environments. The local wildlife and stuff gets destroyed, and the local fauna and flora and all that kind of stuff. But what they're not telling you is the human cost of this.
Yes, so they've actually completely eradicated villages of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Because they need to reclaim the land to set up these solar farms, right?
Yeah.
And the people don't get like a massive, what's it called? Like a compensation or a call to be like, hey, we're going to do this. They'll get blindsided by it.
Yeah.
And the government doesn't care. The Chinese government doesn't care. Authoritarian governments don't care. They thrive off of people's misery because they can shut down their voices.
Correct.
So if nobody has a voice, they can't protest, they can't do anything about it, and they can actually just take them out. What you see here is this solar farm in the back is about to be expanded into this village.
Yes.
And the people are like, I live here.
Yes.
My crops are here. My animals are here. My home is here.
Yes.
My family is here.
For generations.
They don't even have paved roads here, by the way. They're living off of the land, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of China does. Still,
Yep.
hundreds of millions of people live in poverty.
Yep.
And they're like, no. I mean, we're going to hold our ground here because we don't get anything out of this.
exactly.
Right? So if we can actually look at some details here.
Yeah, let's take a look.
This is what's causing ruination.
Yep.
People don't have an outlet. So they're protesting. They're like, nah.
Yeah, they just carried them away. They went there to try and stop the construction workers from basically bulldozing their entire village to put stupid solar farms. And look,
Those are harsh words. They actually went to go reason with them. They
Yeah.
went to go complain.
yeah, of course. They're like, hey, stop trying to bulldoze our village or whatever. So as you can see, they've got riot gear out, okay? And they just take care of the guys because there's nothing they can do about it, right?
Right.
Because they're just poor villagers.
Yes.
Up against riot gear and the government.
Right.
Right?
They want to turn that beautiful hill into that.
They just want to turn it, like glass it over to this horrible...
Yeah, glass it over is the right word.
So we've translated, this is the video that was shared.
Yeah, this is Binglia Township. This is in Yunnan. The village government forcibly occupied farmers' land and beat up the people. I hope that friends who see this video will help forward it so that everyone can see that the government is like this, bullying the common people. Now, obviously, this is shut down.
Yeah, bullying the common people.
This is obviously shut down, but managed to escape every firewall. Those people are losing their homes. Why do you think ruination is happening?
Yeah.
Why? Gee, I wonder. Could it be all the government people that come in and take your home and then bulldoze your land?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is that. And it's kind of hopeless.
It really is. It really is.
So, December 4, Shangmu Village, important news.
A leader in Binglia Township was against the Shangmu photovoltaic
Which just means
power
solar-
project,
solar
and forced
project.
to build in the grassland forestry area of our village. The masses were very dissatisfied with the project and went to the construction site to reason with them. The leader instructed many people to become arrested, tied up, injured, and bleeding, and made our village smoky. They actually smoked out the village, and that's why in that clip you can see it's all smoky.
Yeah,
It was normally a sunny thing.
sure.
They smoked the villagers out.
Of course.
What is this? It's like hunting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The people are uneasy. We must resolutely oppose corrupt elements, give back the voice of justice to the people, and stand up against corrupt elements.
Yeah, it's such a horrible system in China because they'll always, if you can see here the smoke, they smoke them out.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, it's
They're
insane.
smoking out people.
Obviously.
Isn't that what you do to a rabbit in a log?
Pretty
You
much.
know what I mean?
Pretty much. The problem with all of this is if it gets a lot of international attention or a lot of attention around China, let's say there's people stand up and they're like, hey, this is unjust. They can always try to blame the local government officials for being corrupt. Never mind the fact that it's the system that's corrupt and it's the central government at the end of the day who's actually enabling this because they want these stupid solar farms to use for propaganda.
Yep.
It's absolutely not for anything practical.
No.
They already building like 1 billion coal power plants or whatever. They've got enough electricity. They just want to put this up for propaganda.
Yep.
You know?
These are for propaganda / for it to go into the statistics.
Yes.
Right.
That's what it is.
This says illegally occupying villagers' farmland and forcibly installing we'll just call it solar panels.
Yeah.
No one has solved the problem and no one has dealt with it. Villagers
have been beaten.
been beaten. Yeah, villagers have been beaten.
Yeah.
Look at the view.
Yeah, it's great.
But then you get stuff like this. And it's just fascinating to me that
Yeah.
you'd have a front page article, by the way. This
Yeah.
is a I think a shill that put it out.
Yeah,
but,
shills are always
but
sharing. They love this.
The article is not a shill. The article was a mainstream opinion piece on a mainstream media source.
Yeah.
And I was shocked to see this on the front page of the news without being on my feed, just a feed, like a blank feed. It said, only China can now lead the world on climate. As far as global environmental concerns go, the U.S. has irretrievably split personality. At what cost? Number one, that's false.
By the way, it's easy to change this. Just add destruction to the end of that headline.
Correct.
Only China can lead the world on climate destruction.
Yes.
Because that's what they're doing.
They are destroying the entire country and countries around the world with the Belt and Road Initiative.
Yes.
They are, like I said, the world's largest polluter and largest emitter of greenhouse gases.
They have the world's largest stupid fishing fleet that goes out there and decimates the ocean. They've outfished their own seas completely. So they have to go to South America. Yes. They have to go to Africa. They have to go everywhere to destroy the ocean there.
Correct. They have mines collapsing in on themselves due to over digging in their own country, burying dozens of people every year, hundreds of people every year.
Yeah.
They have strip mining with slave labor in Africa.
Yeah.
This is a neo-industrial imperialist power that is quite literally destroying the world. Yet this guy, Adam, says only China can now lead the world on climate.
It's ridiculous.
They're removing people from their village, bulldozing it over.
They've used more concrete in in 1 year than the entire
US
100 years. In 100 years.
Yeah.
Look, China is destroying the environment, okay? There's no joke. There's no two ways about it. If you want to look at actual raw data, the amount of pollution China's done, their entire country, the water's undrinkable. 90% of groundwater is contaminated in China, all right? The soil, too. This is not a country that you look to and say, this is a good idea.
Where's the opposing opinion, though?
Yeah.
That's what I'm losing my mind because... What's the response? This Adam guy or whoever, please make a response to our criticism here because we cannot. No one has rebuted this correctly.
Yeah.
They say China's plan is to hit carbon neutrality. China's plan did this. China's plan did that. I don't care what your plan is.
Yes,
you're doing all of the things you're not supposed to do worse than every country in the world while they minimize their output.
Correct.
I don't understand.
Then they get praised for destroying the environment.
Yes,
it's not okay. You know?
I mean, are we nuts?
Yeah, I think the whole world is nuts. And they just look at look, there's a hill with solar panels on it, and China is great. That's it, right?
Wow, so good.
Never mind the human cost and the cost to the environment. It's stupid. Anyway, let's move on. Otherwise, we'll harp on about this crap all day.
Yeah, we go on about the environment stuff. But anyway.
Here's another thing.
Another ruination.
Guys, all right, we've shown you this before. But again, you could talk about it, but showing it's better. What happened is here's a school, okay? Where's it, Shunda?
Yeah, this is Shunda in Guangdong in the south.
So anyway, here's a school. And a student apparently fell very, very rapidly ill. Mm-hmm. But rather than try to call in an ambulance or involve the medical, services or a hospital or anything, they tried to revive him. Okay, this is apparently what they say. They tried to revive him themselves and waited for hours before actually calling the ambulance, and they died.
Which often happens in China, unfortunately.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So this is after the student died. Finally, then obviously the student's dead. So they're like, okay, I guess it's time to call the ambulance now.
Now this could happen anywhere, but that's not the point of this.
Yes, this is not the point.
So grim.
Yeah. So of course the parents now are not happy.
Yes.
Take a look. So they go outside the school to demand answers.
Yeah.
What is the response?
Why didn't the ambulance show up? Why didn't you call for help? Why did you try to
why did you not notify
yourself?
the parents?
Yes.
That type of thing.
Because they always try to hide it.
So the family and some other parents, they go out to demand their rights. What do the police do? They deploy their physical censorship barriers again. Take a look closely. They're like umbrellas. Okay?
Now, this isn't to hide a body. The body's been removed.
No, there's no body there, guys. This is to hide the
inside.
protest. I'm going to go back to that just so you can see it again. We have more of this. Okay, can you see? You can see the back side of one of those. It's like an umbrella.
Like a square umbrella, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a big square umbrella. The cops carry them in their cars now. They keep them around wherever they are. And whenever there's a protest or something, they put it out. And what does it say on there?
It says, I can pause it on one of those clear shots.
Well, we've got another one coming up, right?
It says police enforcement, no approaching, no photography.
Yes, you can see it there. Now, this is obviously one of the protesters inside filming, okay?
inside the umbrellas.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see
is nuts.
Yeah, you can see that they've
It's
blocked
physical
them.
censorship.
Yeah.
These are censor bars, but in real IRL.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I know we've shown you guys this type of thing before. We've shown our audience this. We've shown the training they do with these. They don't only have these, they've also got big sort of like tarps that they roll out, right?
Yeah.
But the whole point is you can talk about it and say like, oh, they've got these things, but to see them actually using them is another story.
And they're using them a lot now.
Yeah, they use them.
There's so much social unrest.
Yeah, exactly. This ruination thing's real.
This ruination thing is real.
So the fact that on the actual thing itself, they say no photography, and they've even got English on there for some random reason, which is strange.
It's funny because they actually promoted this as they bragged about it.
Yeah.
During the white paper protests, they actually had a model stand up with a piece of white paper and then deployed them as fast as they could.
Yeah.
And they bragged about it. And people were around the world, it went viral. People were like, what is this country?
By the way, you might be wondering why they're wearing sort of white cloths on their head.
It's a funeral thing.
It's a funeral thing. It's like in China, white or black both represent death.
Yes.
Traditionally, so people wear like a white armband or a black armband.
It's like
depends.
a mourning thing.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah.
MOUR.
Yes, not like coffee.
This is Streisand, like, note, by the way, these umbrellas, because then
Yeah.
you're going to look and wonder what it was. But it does actually work. It shuts down.
Of course, people can't see what's going on. They're like, oh, I don't know what was going on there. Something. You
Physical
know?
censorship is wild, dude. It's wild.
The fact that it says no photography on there as
like,
well.
I get that they block. I mean, I don't get it, but like, it's a country with an 8 out of 100 on the world freedom charts, right?
Yes.
It's almost North Korea level at this point. Just has more money, but you understand. Oh, I'm removing a post or blocking a keyword that says like protest or something. But to get cops out there when people are like, "Hey, my son died. What's going on?" and they pop an umbrella in front of you, and then nobody can see what's going on. It's wild. It's wild.
So that means the videos can't spread to show what was going on because all you'll see is like, can't look here.
Because they don't want this to happen. What we're doing now and what all the dissidents do all over Twitter and stuff and sharing these videos, they don't want them to do that. They only want them to see the umbrella.
Now, last week we showed you this horrendous case, and we're not going to show it to you again, don't worry. We're just showing you the screenshot to remind you of this crazy guy who ran down all these students.
Yes.
Okay? And we showed you a whole lot of that.
Another
By the way,
ruination thing.
that has not stopped, but we've decided there's no point in us showing you every week all the incidents because, you know what? Then you get desensitized to it. Then it just becomes the new normal, and you're just like, whatever, it doesn't matter. A bunch of people got run over, so what?
Yeah.
It's shocking. It's shocking that people are still running over children and innocent civilians every day in China.
On a daily basis.
It's shocking.
Yeah. It's
Okay?
ruination. It's
But-
part of ruination.
One thing, because of course we couldn't show you the uncensored version of this clip. We'd never do that. But I've seen we've seen the uncensored version of this, and you see those bollards, right?
Yeah,
they
we
actually
call
look
them
like
traffic barriers in
balls.
America,
Okay,
yeah.
they look like big balls over there. The whole reason for those bollards in the first place is to prevent somebody from, whether it's by accident or on purpose, driving onto campus.
But they're not working because they didn't work here.
They didn't. If you see the original footage, they just get knocked aside as if there weren't even anything, right? So he knocks them aside, manages to run over some kids, does a U-turn, knocks some more of them aside, and goes back down that road, knocking over a bunch of innocent people and children. And there's a reason why. Can you guess why? It's because they're just stupid fiberglass fake garbage.
Just like the fake fire hydrants we showed
Yeah.
you guys that weren't hooked up, so people burned to death in their buildings.
Yeah.
Across the country, they were putting up fake fire hydrants.
Yes.
To say, yep, we did it. Just like they do fake elevator inspections.
Yeah.
And then they collapse and all the families
Correct.
die. Fake bollards.
I mean, think about it, right? You have to put them out there because that's now the law or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, okay, listen, we got to stop people running over our kids. The government's like, okay, make sure that you've got bollards. What do you call them in America? Like
Traffic barriers, yeah.
Traffic barriers. You got to have traffic barriers / bollards set up outside of your school. So they're like, okay, but we don't want to have to pay for like a heavy stone bollard because that's expensive to transport.
Of course it
expensive.
is. Of course it
Or like a
is.
marble one would be very
Yeah.
expensive, right? So what do? You just make a fake one out of fiberglass and give it like a candy-coated shell.
Sheen.
It's like an M&M.
It's like an M&M.
You know what I mean?
It's like a cursed malted milk ball.
Exactly. Maltesers. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
exactly.
cursed
It just
Malteser.
teases you into thinking it's real.
Yes, it's a
Yeah,
Malteser.
Exactly.
Yes.
Anyway, so it's a ball
That's
teaser.
grim.
No, that's something else. Anyway, so this is why they're ineffective because they're light
Yes.
and hollow and garbage. Just like everything else in China, China is the land of shortcuts and facades. And it gives you this idea that it's safe. Because if I see those bollards on the side, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I can walk here because a car won't be able to hit me. And that's what they want. They just want that the optics, the facade. Because in reality, that's not going to stop a car at all. In fact, it's just they'll knock that and that'll fly into you.
Well, and it's proven to not work.
Yeah, it's proven to not work. We've seen
You know what is effective, though, is if you guys please like the video. If you're watching, it does help us a lot.
We would appreciate
before we move on to the next segment. Thank you very much.
But this is not the next segment because we're going back.
Yeah, this is also part of Ruination. I just want you to remind...
Just remember we showed you this hospital collapse, in the beginning. I'll show you one more time just to remind you that this was, yesterday? And this is a brand new hospital ceiling falling down. Bam. Okay. Now, we've got another clip from another hospital, and this is all relevant just to bear with us.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't need to see that whole clip again. We'll just fast forward through that. Okay. Is this?
Yes.
Okay.
Right after this one.
Yeah.
This is only a little bit of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Just reminding people of the hospital thing.
Yeah, exactly. We had to remind you. What do you see, guys?
Oh, here we go. Guess this is a different place.
This
is physical sensors.
Completely different city. Completely different place.
We need a name for these physical sensors.
Yeah, we have
that's so long.
Yeah, physical censorship barrier is a bit long.
But someone you guys in the chat,
come up with a good name for these.
Come up with a good name for these.
Now, first of all, I'd like you guys to notice that these are of a different design.
Yeah, they are.
So it's not just like one size fits all.
Yeah,
and this shows you like each city will have its own version, I guess, each police department. But you can see no approaching, no photography.
Yes.
Now, this woman over here is, of course, disgruntled. She has a megaphone. Okay.
Man, they're busting out the umbrellas.
Yeah, see
blockers.
Blockers, yeah. You see how they're like trying to from the top as well, because there's obviously like someone's filming from on top, right?
Yes.
There's like an upper level where people can film. Cope cover. I mean, yeah, maybe.
Oh man, sensor shields.
Yep, sensor shield's pretty good.
Blinders, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pop down in the comments if you have an idea what to call these.
Okay, so the idea behind this, as shouting dating says over here, so that's not dating, by the way, it's dating. Su Huang's sister, her younger sister, 26 years old, was receiving treatment at Nanshan Hospital.
Ah, you've been there many times. You worked there, didn't you?
I worked there, yeah.
This is your job.
Yeah, I trained doctors there.
So... Not to go back to those.
I didn't train them in medical, by the way.
Those cope covers.
What? The cope covers, yeah.
Where she is standing, you've probably stood somewhere there.
I have actually been right there.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, I've been there.
We've been on the ground.
Yes, I've been in that hospital.
Yeah.
In fact, I might even have footage of myself there. Either way.
Shields.
Shame shields.
I like it.
Shame shields. China's shame shields.
Again, leave a comment if you have a better idea.
So anyway, was receiving treatment at Nanshan Hospital. A doctor who was not qualified for the job gave her a wrong injection, which caused her to become completely paralyzed. Later, her treatment was delayed and she died a few months later. You can check it out here, etc., blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this is the reason why she went there, because her sister was treated incorrectly, like malpractice, which, of course, in China, you'll never win any kind of malpractice suit.
No.
So she went there with a megaphone to demand some kind of justice, someone to answer for this. Why was an unqualified doctor allowed to give her the wrong medicine and cause her to die? Okay? And what do? They whip out 3 shame shields.
Yep.
I kind of like shame shield.
Shame shield's good.
Yeah, Chinese shame shields.
So I want some people to have something to take away with. Now we know why this ruination, whatever trend is taken off, right?
Yeah.
We understand what's going into this. We understand why it's a continuation of Lie Flat. But we also want to tell you that this shame shield thing, this is not where this ends.
And again, this is not some little fad. This is now being used on the daily basis in China. Whenever there's anything that's a little inconvenient, they just block it out.
But I think some people that don't have a full understanding of China, maybe you're a new viewer, you haven't seen what we cover often. You might think that, okay, well, when it dies down, they covered it up with these shame shields. No, she goes to jail.
Yes.
She gets disappeared Probably forever.
Yeah.
If you cause a public disturbance or what we call society stability management, if you go against stability management in China, that's the
Social harmony.
One of the highest crimes in China.
Yeah.
So this doesn't end with shame shields.
Yeah.
They black bag you.
I also don't like it when people try to project their own Western mindset onto this.
Sure.
A lot of people will be like, oh, they only have those to, block a horrific scene if there's a car accident or something. No, that's not their priority.
No.
I have seen so many dead bodies lying on the street in China.
Dozens.
They don't care about that. Like in the West, when I was growing up, even in South Africa, if there's like a fatal car accident, the first thing that the police or the ambulance does is they put a cover over the body.
Yes.
They put a blanket over it. Okay. And I would always notice that, when I was a little kid. And I saw a lot of death in South Africa. But,
Makes sense, yeah.
there's always a cover they put over the person. In China, they don't put a cover over a corpse, a dead person on the road. They put a cover over somebody who's making a scene.
Correct. These shame shields are not to... Don't use your Western lens, like Winston said. These are not to make you say, oh, well, let's respect the dead.
It's just like, now when the Chinese EVs are crashing or in an accident or something, the people go out there, the service staff go out there immediately to cover the logos and to cover them up. It's not because they want to cover a scene of an accident. They want to cover the logo.
Yeah, we had some people like from Germany that were reaching out. They're covering up the bodies. There was no dead people in those cars. They got out.
I mean,
right?
If you check out my Twitter /X, you'll see I recently posted another one where the guys immediately ran out to the representatives from that company just to block the logo. They've got like bits of cardboard to block the logo, not the rest of the car because they didn't have the cover.
Yeah, they're not blocking bodies.
No,
guys.
they're blocking the logo.
Like this is to block so people don't see protesters or don't see society turning into ruined nation.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
You know why blocking the logo on those new Chinese EVs is so effective? Because they all look the same. I'm not even joking.
That's true.
They all look the same. It's like a white, like that one shape they use. It looks exactly the same.
Egg-looking thing.
Yeah. So there we go. Yeah.
You are true. All right, moving on.
Let's move on. Yes. So this is an unfortunate incident, but again, we can now very clearly show you.
And she sacrificed her life and freedom for that, by the way.
Yeah. The Royal Rumble is coming.
The annual The China Show's Royal Rumble is this year's main event.
Characters from the China Show come out one by one and they bring their beef.
The first year, Jonty had a great performance.
Great.
But he wasn't so lucky the following year.
Tractor bulldozed Ballsack for a stunning victory in year 2.
Winston, Jonty's been looking for his second victory. But he's really, for lack of better words, pissed at the Haze Runner because he, in fact, is the fastest man in the world.
I'm the fastest man in the world. Nobody can stop me.
Not that wheezing maniac.
Also, don't forget, the new kid on the block, or should I say new brick in the wall, Mason, who's really angry with his neighbor Salte Waters, who plays his music too loud.
What a wonderful song. How come I've never heard it before?
It's been a little too much for Rick,
Wow, that's a little too much for me.
who's been replaced by Raging Roger. This is the feud of the year.
Join us at the Xiaoban Ho live tier to watch this year's main event, this year's Royal Rumble, as it happens with live commentary from C-Milk and Winston. You will be there and you will enjoy it. You will follow us, okay?
You'll follow me, okay?
Or you can support us at any other tier level to see it after it airs live.
Don't forget, you can gift patron memberships and bring the joy of the Royal Rumble to your family this season.
We'll see you in the ring on December 23rd at 5 p.m. EST. Be there or the frog gets peed on.